Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a how to use a beauty blender. So I do not have an original beauty blender. I use this one. I got it at Ulta. It was like $4 or $5. It was less than the Real Techniques, not by a lot. This feels exactly like the Real Techniques, or I might say even better. The only complaints I have about this one is that it's got both ends, like it does not give me a round one. And this, I have not wet it yet. It does get bigger when you wet it. These are just some tips that I know that I like to use when I make when I do my makeup and I use this beauty sponge. So not only am I going to give you some tips, but I'm gonna demonstrate as well. So let me just wet this and come back. Okay, so here it is now wet. It's a lot softer and bigger. It doubles in size. So when you wet your beauty blender, the way I use it is I wash it before every use. I had it clean right now before it was dry because I wanted to show it to you guys and I didn't want to show you the dry beauty blender dirty. So usually after I'm done, I just let it sit and air dry, and then when I'm going to reuse it again, then I will wash it. I have this little bar of soap. I'll have to leave the name here, and it's like paraben free and things like that. So I really like it for the beauty blender because I know that it is a bar of soap that will not irritate my skin. In my opinion, it is much easier to clean your beauty blender with a bar of soap instead of like a liquid soap, but you could also use like Dove soap, fragrance free, or like a sensitive one that you know will not irritate your skin. But when you do wash it and you remove the excess water, you don't want to completely remove all the water. You want there to be, still some in there. That way it absorbs less. I prefer using my beauty blender with a liquid foundation such as this that I can pump onto the back of my hand. So I'm just going to do one pump to start. I just dab it in. Not drag it. You don't want to drag. You want to dab it onto your skin. And that is a really important tip, is that when you use the beauty blender, you do not rub into the skin. There is an occasion where I will drag the beauty blender, and I will get to that in a minute. Usually they recommend starting from inside your face and then working out, but I like to go on the outside and then work my way in. I do feel though that this foundation is a little too yellow on me. The times that I do drag my beauty blender is when I'm blending it down to my neck. And after I've drug it down, I do come back and pat it. Also make sure that you use the tip to get in between the corners of your nose for a nice even application. The great thing about a beauty blender is that if you want to add another layer, you can, and it won't look so cakey. So I'm going to just go over this side of my face just a little bit and back over my eyes and under my eyes. You can also use the very tip to just go over and conceal some spots. Another thing that you can do with the beauty blender is apply powders as well. So say you want to apply some blush, you can, on a clean side, just go into the makeup a little bit and just dab it where you want it. You can apply any sort of powdered product that you want, any of course people use their sponges to pick up product when they bake, but you can also use it to pick up blush, which I did here. So also, I know sometimes it can be tricky to work with like cream contours and cream highlights and cream things like that. I didn't contour, but I am going to highlight, and I'm going to use this Wet n Wild Mega Glow Multi-Stick. And I'm just going to apply it where I want it. And on a clean side, again, just blend it out. This is just a lot easier to use to blend out cream products. And even though it may be tempting sometimes to drag it across the skin, don't. You just gotta keep patting to really blend it out. You can also use it to bake. I'm just taking this. And even though I didn't contour, I'm gonna bake anyways. So something else a beauty blender is really useful for is to erase mistakes that you made. If you have an extra beauty blender, it's more helpful because it's just sitting there and it's dry. It's what helps it become sort of like an eraser. So if it's dry and say you apply too much blush, because I know sometimes I get heavy with my hand applying blush, you just go over it, and this is a moment you do drag it, is when you're trying to erase. You just drag it over what you want and it'll pick up some of that product. That is another thing that it is really helpful for. And while I bake, I'm going to do my eyebrows. Last thing I want to talk about the beauty blender is that there is a cheap alternative. You can get one of these. These are the, just the individual, the makeup sponges. And this is another really cheap alternative these makeup sponges. And obviously the texture is very different. This is something that I saw on Makeup Goss. The channel is called it's Wayne Goss. He is a really good makeup artist, and I learned this tip from him before I was able to get one of these. I would use this, and honestly it works pretty much the same. You just take one of these and then you rip it in half. If I can rip it, okay. And you can rip it the long ways, like this one. This is one that I used already. Or you can rip it the shorter way. But what you want to use is the inside, which is way more texturized than the sponge, than the beauty blender. And you can wet these as well, because I've used them that way also, and it's really almost the same thing. So if you don't want to spend your money on that, you can get a pack of these that'll last you a few weeks to a couple months, depending on how often or not that you use them. You remember that these are not disposable. You don't use them once and throw them away. You can reuse them, wash them. You just have to really take really good care of these. But it's the same thing, same rules apply. You just dab, don't drag. These smaller ones too, they have the mini beauty blenders, the little tiny ones. You could use these for the exact same thing as the mini ones, because you can get really close into like the corners like these. These, honestly, I prefer baking with these because they are just, the edge is there and I can just go straight down too. So these do apply in a cleaner line because they are straight. This is a really great alternative, like I said, if you don't want to spend the money on these. On a $20 one, or even these that are cheap, you just gotta make sure that they're soft. You just gotta, there are some, like for $1, but they do not work as well because they are not as soft, and I think that is the key. Just as these are pretty soft, they feel about the same, and this one's wet so it's softer and these aren't. These aren't wet, so just depends. You know, you can try this out, and if it works, you guys should let me know what you guys think about it. Or if you have tried it, also let me know what you guys think about it. I have also written a blog post about the beauty blender and how to use it and tips for cleaning it and all that stuff, so make sure to check it out. I'll leave the link down below. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram and follow my blog. I will leave all the links down below to that. I will leave the name to this one, this exact one I have, because it is cheaper than Real Techniques, and I think it works. It's the same or even better than Real Techniques, so I'll leave the link down to that too. And so yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh my god.